Hello, brethren, and for this video I want to talk about the purpose of the distinction between moral and ceremonial law. But more importantly, what makes a law either moral or ceremonial? For example, the Sabbath. There's some people in various groups I've been involved with on Facebook some time ago, even quite recently, that claim that the Sabbath, for example, is ceremonial, and that there was a ceremonial law added to the Ten Commandments. Well, logically speaking, that's hogwash. But if you believe that is true, watch this video until the end. Don't be stupid and cut it off in the middle of it. Watch the entire video through. It's not going to be that long. But the Sabbath is not a ceremonial law. It is a moral law, like the dietary laws, Ten Commandments. Everything else God declared to be sin and wrong. There's nothing ceremonial about the Sabbath. It's moral. God never established any ceremonial law in the creation. He established the Sabbath and hallowed it and sanctified it in creation. And he set the example of working 6 days and then resting one, and then he gave the same commandment by example and also by commandment in Exodus 20. See the video and evidence and facts for yourself. Sabbath is not a ceremonial law, it is a moral law.
Is the Sabbath day moral or ceremonial? It's moral, not ceremonial. Part 1 Summary definitions from Webster's 1828. Moral. The natural course of conduct in certainty regarding right and or wrong or truth of the universe like mathematics. Ceremonial. Special occasions or traditional celebrations including rites and ceremonies observed. Ceremony. Customs of social gatherings or rules set by religion or business rite. The way of performing a service by custom and or an act of religion. The difference. A moral rule or law is the course of conduct regarding the certainty of right and wrong. Morality is based on objective thinking. Ceremonial or ceremony are certain traditional occasions or customs performed by service or religious purpose. Therefore you have morality, the objective standard of right and wrong, and then ceremonies around that moral standard. All ceremonies should operate around the moral standard and not deviate from it. For example, you have the objective moral rule to not steal, 10 commandments, and then a ceremony of celebrating a birthday. You don't celebrate the birthday by stealing what the person wants for their birthday as a gift. Make sense? What makes something moral or ceremonial? Moral is objectively right and wrong. Ceremonial is something celebrated, honored, or a kept custom within that morality. Part 2 Moral and Ceremonial Laws. I already made at least one video and posted an article on Facebook about this issue. So let's look at the logical explanation, which should be sought whenever seeking to understand. Moral law. Everything that God said simply to be sin, iniquity, abomination, transgression, etc. This is not God's opinion, rather they are God's objective rules. And because they come from God, that makes them concrete and absolute. For example, the 10 Commandments, dietary laws, sexual sins, Lev 18, etc. Is morality something you can celebrate or can be a tradition? No. Ceremonial law. Certain traditional occasions or customs performed by service or religious purpose. For example, the feasts, Levitical priesthood, sacrifices, etc. Also procedures of what to do when the moral law was broken. Passage. Numbers 9:2 Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season. 9-3 And the 14th day of this month, at even, ye shall keep it in his appointed season, according to all the rites of it, and according to all the ceremonies thereof, shall ye keep it. Yes, the form of the word ceremony is in the Bible. Since ceremonies is found, then some laws were considered ceremonial. Just like the word tradition is found in Scripture 13 times. Therefore we can conclude that there are certain things considered traditional. Make sense? In context, the ceremonies had to do with the feast days. They were to be celebrated, means kept, or praise, or honor with rites. Part 3, the Sabbath and Numbers 28. People want to give this lame excuse why we cannot keep the Sabbath. Sacrifice excuse. You can't keep the Sabbath because it requires sacrifices and duties from the Levitical priesthood. Read Numbers 28 9-10. However, see verses 11 to 15. In the total verses of 9 to 15 these words are found: meat offering and drink offering. Next read verses 16 to 25. It's about the feast days, specifically the Passover. Has nothing to do with the seventh-day Sabbath alone. No duties attached to that day. If there was, then why didn't God mention it in the Ten Commandments? But then people want to ask, then why does it say in 10 this is the burnt offering of every Sabbath? Easy, see verses 11 and 16. They are about the beginning of the new year and the first feast is Passover. See Lev 23:37-38. These words are found: sabbaths, meat offering, and drink offerings. Also in Ezekiel 45:17 these words are found: meat offering, drink offering, new moons, and sabbaths. Now what does that look like? See the next point. Col 2:16 Let no man therefore judge you in meat, or in drink, or in respect of an holiday, convocation or feasts, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days. It was these that were blotted out. Col 2:14 blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross. The word ordinance is found 26x in Scripture. The Passover is called an ordinance. See X 18:20, Lev 18:3-4, Num 9:12, 2 Chron 33-8. Therefore, the conclusion of Numbers 28. The whole context of Numbers 28 is about the ceremonial law. They had many Sabbaths for the ceremonial Levitical law, including the feast days. Has nothing to do with the supposed imaginary duties of the seventh-day Sabbath by itself for every Sabbath day. If the Sabbath day is part of the ceremonial law, why would God add a ceremonial law to the Ten Commandments, which are the standard moral law of God? Doesn't make sense. Also in the Ten Commandments it says in both passages, Exodus 28 remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. Deut 5:12 keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. It doesn't say Sabbaths or Sabbath days. Lastly in Genesis 2:2-3 God blessed and sanctified the seventh day, not days. Conclusion. Is the Sabbath moral or ceremonial? Here are the facts. 1. The Sabbath was established during the creation week. 2. Sabbath is part of the Ten Commandments. 3. Death penalty applied for breaking the Sabbath. 4. No sacrifices or Levitical priesthood connected to the Sabbath. Yes, it is moral, not ceremonial. Also in Numbers 28 and Leviticus 23 the Sabbath is listed, but required sacrifices are only linked to it through the context, which is the feasts. There is nothing ceremonial about it. It makes no sense for God to sneak in one ceremonial law with the rest of the moral law.